stage. Round robin, best of two. This is madness. Team Nigma. Team Secret. VG Game. Invictus Game. Execration. AS Monaco Gambit. Oh, brother, this card is really wild.
It's day one of the Animajor, and we have a lot of work to do. We got best of twos all day long to try to figure out which two teams are going to make it out of the wild card. My name's Rich. I'm going to be your host all day long, and I'm joined on the panel by AUI and also Lacoste. And I'm very excited for this next matchup. And we had a little bit of time to actually talk about the fact that this is a pleasant surprise. It's worth a lot more already than we thought it was going to be. We got both teams coming out with splits in their first series of the day. It's Nigma versus AS Monaco Gambit. So a little bit of a surprise on the side of Gambit as well. How do you feel about them being able to take one game away?
Pleasantly surprised because they swapped two players. You know, the two players left willingly after they were not satisfied with the performance. So they had to find the stand-ins in a week or two. And I don't think anyone expected them to take a game off Team Secret.
Yeah, and you actually brought up right before we went live, and I thought that this is obviously everybody at home is going to enjoy hearing a whole bunch, just the idea that it wasn't necessarily in a way that guarantees a great performance, right? You're in a situation where there's some dissent between the players, and now they're here, and it's one of those moments where it's either going to cause them to rise above, to prove how good they really can be for Gambit, or they just fall apart. And it seems like we might be seeing the former.
Yeah, I mean, there are two players, like Noah and Seneko. They basically said, we don't think you guys are good enough for us to play with you. That's a harsh feeling. And usually when that happens, it either means you spiral out of control and you're just sad, or it means you're you know what, guys, we're going to prove you wrong. And I mean, they beat Secret. They had a sick draft. They're ready to show that, you guys left, but you guys were wrong, we were right. And yeah, there we go.
Yeah, it's one of those things too where that's the type of scenario where I feel like you can get that momentum, and all of the sudden you're up against Nigma. Maybe they're able to get another upset, but we're going to find out very shortly here because the draft is underway. We got Gambit versus Nigma. Nigma also redemption arc. They're trying to get back into their fighting form that we already know and expect from them, and they're trying to be able to lock up a position in TI. They're able to take one. Do you think we're going to see them playing in the way that we saw them play in their second game?
After watching Gambit, the old Gambit, I would say, this should be an easy one for Team Nigma. But after seeing what they've did to Team Secret in game number 2, this might be an interesting series, because Team Nigma, they looked very clean against VG Gaming. VG Gaming up there, one of the best teams. I thought that's going to be the best series so far in the wild card, but maybe I was wrong, because it was very one-sided, especially game 2. So we have to see what they have in store for this one.
All right, what do we think about this draft so far as we start to see some of these early picks coming out, AUI?
Well, I'm interested because I think AA is a super strong support, and Nyx is a hero that's been it's been either perma-banned and picked in some regions or not picked at all. I know in China in particular it's super strong, so I'm sure these teams are watching some of that. And usually against AA, you want these sort of sneaky heroes that get on the back line. Nyx sort of does that. So right now, some interesting ideas going into the draft.
Something that I watch a lot of China. I worked at the Chinese region, so they open up mostly with Nyx Assassin, either Nyx Assassin plus Slash, or if Nyx Assassin is banned out, 3 and plus Lash Viper, strong laner, no matter what. So Nyx Assassin counters, my point is that he counters a lot of heroes because there's uncontrollable damage going on, especially against the certain ones like Ember is pretty much not pickable. Same goes for Lash Track, so something that they might have in hand for them.
Yeah, I think that's a good point too, because AA sort sort of does the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Like when you see AA, it's really hard to pick your carry. A lot of the heroes you want, like you can't pick these like Lunas, Gyrocopters, Morphlings, anything, basically any range carry, because if they burst you down with an AO, you don't get to play Dota.
We've seen that in the previous series where you have a Centaur who has a Hood, has a Vanguard, but he's not tanky. Same goes for Spectre. One AA blast, they keep you in the place. I was pleasantly surprised the way Nigma moved around the map. They picked heroes who don't rely on any of the cooldowns. Great automation coming out from them, especially like the multiple fluffy hats, just not being able to be bursted down by Tiny in that particular game, so they're understanding what needs to be done is pretty top level, pretty top notch.
Yeah. One of the things, though, that I think a lot of people were saying, definitely saying in the chat, was that they weren't loving the morph. How do you feel about seeing it again here as we enter the second best of 2?
Oh, you asking me?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were gonna ask the smart guy because I've been watching AUI. I've been.
Here's my plan. I start with you and
You
then
start.
we upgrade.
Okay.
Yeah, we upgrade. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, Morphling. Flexible, and they played it on the mid lane. They can play it on the safe lane if the matchup is good. Viper, if that's an off lane Viper, he puts a ton of pressure on him. It's not a melee hero, but still you don't like to play into Viper. Viper Nyx just sounds disgusting. The mana burn, you can't use the shift. Maybe an earlier point in it. Maybe it's gonna be a mid lane. I still don't know. Gotta see what's gonna happen next. But to go back, AUI, I watch him prepare. He logs onto computer. Watch the replay at 0.25 speed. Uses some fancy words to describe how teams are playing, and then you have me. I'm just saying puck goes brrr, and that's it. So I gotta find the real balance here.
Well, that was one of your best.
Yeah, that's my
really
best. I should
really
be very embarrassed.
But you're correct, though, right? Like puck does go.
But
I don't know how you made that
really
noise.
does go.
He really does. He really does. I'm thinking back to some of my favorite moments of working with you right now, and a lot of them were things that you didn't even say on the panel. Just those moments of smiles where you make me completely break
Because you
up.
get the best out of me, Rich. That's why.
I really do enjoy getting to sit next to you on a panel again, and also this is the first time that AUI and I've got.
And what is that smell? What is that perfume that you're wearing right now? Is that Lorinov?
Chanel 5.
Oh, because Lorinov, like the player, it sounds like a perfume, right? You're a perfume expert.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would wear that, right?
Yeah. Definitely would wear that. And I also would wear I cannot segue out of that. You actually managed to stump me. I was going to try to move that into something about the draft, but I'm just going to have to throw it on over.
Okay, what is that? My question is, what is that hero before Batrider?
Before Batrider?
Yeah, between Darkseer and Bat.
That's puck.
Puck, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's the head.
It's tricky. I swear it's because they just went for the black and white images. It's a little bit trickier to actually see the bands from how far away we're sitting from the television. But as we start to see some more picks coming out from Gambit, how are you feeling overall about this lineup?
For Gambit?
Yeah.
I like how they're constructing it. Like they have a mix of I like the Nyx sneakiness. And I like the long range nukes. I think generally this patch it's hard to take slow fights early. You have to burst heroes because TP scores are really strong right now. So if you have heroes like Snapfire, Viper, and Nyx, it means that whoever you see on the map, like you can just kill them right away.
Yeah, and also covering the Snapfire pick nicely with the Nyx Assassin, one of the worst heroes for Snapfire to play. Just one carapace and you're done. Surprised we don't see too much of a Nyx Assassin. Like it's really popular in Chinese region. The hero does well, a bit slow at the start, doesn't provide too much pressure in the lane unless he's paired up with, let's say, like a Darkseer, something that enables him. But overall feels really good, and the Snapfire, even after all those nerfs, the hero feels good. To go back on their position 4, Tusk, Snowball, Save, anti-tank hero. Some heroes really don't like Timbersaw. You might be tanky, but not tanky enough to play against the tag team. Not picked at all. Like I've been watching, in Europe, I believe it's popular, South America as well. So certain regions just like prioritizing this pick. I'm a big fan. Very surprised, like Southeast Asia, China, they were not picking the hero at all.
They weren't picking Tusk at all?
No, just hero was completely gone.
I think right now it's sort of hard for like Nigma's heroes to fight into Gambit still, right?
Yeah.
And I think like in drafting, like if you create disparities in like certain aspects of the draft, like team fight, it's really hard to catch up on those later. I think you can look back like historically, like you can even think about like the Kiev Major and 2016 or something, like they would pick like Warlock and the enemy team would instantly pick Phoenix. And like right now, like if I see Snapfire, Nyx, Viper, and I have like these 3 non-team fighting heroes, like I don't know how I'm going to recover from that.
Great Storm game. Like they have not a single stun. He can just jump over the shards. Like AA is pretty much the food for him. Same goes for Nyx Assassin. So their pick-off potential is off the charts in this game. I want to see some kind of silence, some kind of a stun, something that deals well with the Storm.
This means Viper's offlane though, right?
Yeah.
So they have a Tuskar AA Morphling. I think they might look to try that hero.
Yeah.
It looks really vulnerable. Like I don't think Nyx can really pull waves.
I like Dragonite as a response to Storm Spirit, but after they have Viper, not a big fan, so they're gonna save maybe the mid laner for the last. How do you like if it's a mid morph against the Storm Spirit?
I think Storm should outfarm him slightly, but Morph will be completely fine, and then Morph should have pressure on the tower. I think pressure on the tower, if you have a lineup with like sort of non-T-Fang supports, it means you have to play the map really fast because you can't take the same skirmish as you would in the mid game. So you want heroes that like when they see the enemy hero in lane, they'll kick him out and your creep wave will hit their tower.
They don't have that one hero that just goes in and jumps Snapfire, which I really don't like. Something from far away, maybe like maybe Mars, but Snapfire can outrange the Mars, and you have a good front line that can keep them busy. Also, it's Mars into Storm Spirit. He can easily just jump out.
I think like even though they pick Mars, I don't think they're looking to take like these straight teamfight engagements. They're gonna arena spear one guy. Maybe he'll get a Yule so he can be the catch for that Storm, as you mentioned. But they have like this AALT and this Morphling long range nuke. You arena spear one guy, you burst him in, and you try to reset the fight. You have a lot of like the Tuskar reset. Your Morphling has waveform to reset. You can just use arena as like a way to trade out your spells. I think that is correct for like what heroes Gambit has, because Gambit, like they have this Nyx Assassin, Viper, and Snapfire. Like they have a lot of nukes. They're really strong in team fights, but they're actually not that mobile. Storm is, but if he's the one you catch, then you can always reset the fight and get another round of spells.
Yeah, Viper's pretty sluggish. I want to see what his item build is going to be this time around. Maybe.
I haven't seen it offlane much. Do they play it a lot in Europe?
No, not really.
Okay.
He's been banned out most of the time in the regions that I've been watching. When there's like Spectre, when there's a Bristleback, so Southeast Asia loves Bristle, so was banned out most of the time.
That hero's straight first pick in NA for a lot of teams. He's super scary, but they usually play him mid. That's why I started curious. Like in my head, like you would pick the carry instead of Storm there, right? So you could like sort of hide where the Viper's going. Like right now, I think it's sort of easy for Nigma to decide how to shut down Viper.
Like a PL for Gambit, because they have no real AoE. Morphling does not like to play into mana burn. Supports are just the food for him.
They have the 24 pick, right?
Yeah.
So I think you will. I can see PL working for sure. That sounds pretty good. I think you do want to see that last hero though, especially like for a hero like PL. I was talking to BSJ and he said like PL is like pretty much the last pick or nothing right now. He's like the hero's not good, but he can still be picked if you have the perfect matchups.
Sure, but I think you can get away with that. Doesn't necessarily need to be last pick, at least from what I've seen. What is that ban, Rich? Let's help us out.
I do want to say really quickly here, 95%. You can see right now. That guess the winners. That is a Twitch chat vote. 95%.
Twitch chat. They love Nigma.
They didn't even wait to see what happened in the draft. Already 95% of them on the side of Nigma. But I will say to everybody in chat, if you've only been paying attention to one of the streams, if you've only been watching Dire, if you've only been watching Radiant, you might have not seen what Gambit already.
You got to contribute something to this draft. Like you need to tell me what hero is banned.
I was in the middle of contributing to the draft. I can't see that far away to see the heroes that are drafted. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to.
It's much easier when it's color. It's not black and white.
It's just that the picks are easy. It's those how tiny the bands actually are here. I can see that that's a jug at the end here, but what do you want to see to round out the draft, Lacoste?
For Nigma?
Yeah.
I think they need a mid laner. I think it's okay to have Morph against the Viper. You mentioned the aggressive tri-lane possibility, something that comes to my mind every single time I see Tusk, one of the best heroes. It's going to be mid-Morph, actually.
Okay, so running that back again after what we saw in game one. And now it's going to come down to Gambit. What are you looking out for here?
I mean, I think they picked Leicester, right? And I've had this matchup in my pubs a few times where like Viper goes against Leicester, and that matchup's actually really hard for Leicester, but he can remove the poison stacks, and I think Nigma is one of the best team at rotating their 4 like to mid and safe lane, so we will see like an early trialing come in for Naga Siren.
It's pretty much the same concept as a PL where you have diffusal blade carriers, something that they don't have the answer to. They had the last pick, not enough wave clear. They like these heroes don't deal well with the illusions. Lifestealer Radiance build not a thing anymore. I like this Naga. I really like.
They have no wave shove on Radiant at all. Or
yeah,
Nigma.
like you have AA Tusk, they really struggle. Like Mars can, Lifestealer needs to sit there and actually hit the creeps.
It's actually very good versus Mars on lane. Like he has to constantly throw a spear and just split your illusions, and you can win that lane with Naga Siren.
I like Gambit's draft. I really like what they got.
Okay, so we hear Lacoste right now in favor of Gambit's draft. AUI, how about you?
I mean, the one thing that Gambit's lacking is, like, I think it's a bit unclear who goes in first. They have Nyx to sort of frontline for them, so that's good. But I also like Gambit's draft. I think Dream plays a really good Naga Siren, actually. And yeah, I'm curious to see what happens in this game.
How do you feel the tide of this game is actually going to play out, though? What are the big moments that you're looking for as we actually do get into the game?
I think most of this game is going to be on GH because this game's going to be on how Tuskar rotates. Like, if he can make Leicester have a really good game, like, he's unkillable this game until Storm Orchid, pretty much. If they can do that and, like, just hold their safe lane control, then, you know, Nigma has a map to play. If that doesn't happen, I think Gambit should be able to, like, control the entire map with Naga and just hold farm them.
Gotta agree. I'm pleasantly surprised the way Gambit drafted. They utilized the last pick, and I don't think they have the answer for this Naga Siren.
All right. Well, I love what you said to start off the panel. Just the idea of Gambit right now. Are they rising to the occasion after having an extra pressure thrown onto the players from the players themselves? We're going to find out very quickly here if they're going to be able to grab another upset as we jump into the second best of 2 of the day.
Gambit up against Nigma. It seems like Nigma trying to replicate some of their victory against VG Gaming with this Mars, this Ancient Apparition, but the panel, and I know you were saying that you really like Gambit's draft and the way they can play the map.
Yeah, as long as they don't get smashed early, I think that they have really good ways to just keep the map, like, keep themselves hidden in particular, especially the Naga Siren. I think Dream, when he's playing with this team, he excels when he's actually not being forced to do too much. When I've seen him actually, because I watched a lot of these Europe and CIS games, when he's actually forced to get involved, he starts making these mistakes because it doesn't feel like he wants to be in these. I think Naga Siren actually fits perfectly the style that he likes to play.
So he won't get flustered. He'll just farm and build himself up.
And I actually, I mean, Aoi kind of took it right away from me, but I think it's eyes on GH this game to solidify and secure these lanes, because you look, and it's a Tusk Mars lane if he does want to play around my control, which is, it's going to be a little bit hard for him to really do much of anything to actually play aggressive. So I want to see him play with the tri-lane and just look at him, the rotations. A lot of times the way that GH has been playing, especially with Miracle now playing the mid for them, he rotates mid like 4 minutes. I guarantee you we see a TP. 4 or 5 minutes, GH is going to run mid, he's going to TP mid, he's going to try to make an aggressive play on the mid laner. And especially versus a hero like Storm, he could actually catch him off guard early on when he doesn't have that level 6. You can actually look to set up a gank there. So eyes on GH really for this game, and seeing if he does early go for tri-lanes, and if he does go for like pulling creep waves, because I think that's going to be the style, at least in the bottom lane.
For sure going to be a pivotal hero for them. And then kind of a similar thing here for the Nyx Assassin as well, right? He's going to be scouting out any movements that Nigma want to make, because it is a very team fight focused draft around that Mars AA, looking for those early engagements. And we know Immersion, how well he can do behind enemy lines, kind of catching stragglers or smoke ganks there as an early rage from RLTW. Get rid of some of that damage coming through from Afterlife, but they've shoved this wave really hard already under tier 1.
Yeah, this is the Afterlife special. He loves playing the Viper. He always does it. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. He always does Vipers, but this is a very comfortable Feral for him, so he forces the wave in, and then they just start messing with the pulls. You see the wards already coming out from both sides, so yeah, they've got it covered, and we're already seeing the pull. GH is starting to pull because he doesn't want to be this double melee versus Naga Siren, so he's going to start switching where the positioning of the lane is.
Yeah, start manipulating that creep wave. And then mid lane there, we've got Lorenoff up against Miracle. Storm versus Morphling, which the panel was saying, you know, Storm Spirit can potentially slightly out-farm the Miracle Morph, but then you've got the threat of that damage onto towers and the runes that Miracle can utilize to shove back into the wave. But for the most part, you know, these mid lanes with water runes now very much just farm trade heavy.
Yeah, I actually love seeing like the aggressive Storms, and Lornoff, from what I've seen so far, very aggressive player, so he tends to just always get Electric Vortex level 3. So he's going to be able to try to bring it to the Morphling if he sees an opportunity, just pull him to even make him miss range creeps and stuff like that. It's really high skill kind of matchup that you can take advantage of, so eyes on Lornoff to bully Miracle a little bit here.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking down the side lanes, BZZ. Just trying to track back onto GH, like you were mentioning, just dragging these waves around and making things a little easier for himself. As Emergent already starting his nonsense, kills off RLTW's Courier with the boots on them.
Yeah, you see, Kuro has actually started boots on the AA, something you don't see too often because he just has to run. Yeah, ILTW is forced to actually rage and run away. This is a very tough lane right now for Team Nigma.
Yeah, we start to see the CS from the Radiant team getting ahead of their counterparts for the most part. I mean, Naga Siren, maybe consider her to be struggling a little bit, but that's more of an experience-focused hero early days. CS will come naturally as the game progresses into 10, 15 minutes. She'll be given all of that room to farm. So early laning stage, you feel like Naga Siren, it's not really important for her to have a good time down here, is it? Just dodge any kind of aggression from Nigma.
Yeah, they're manipulating creeps so much, right? GH, that's the whole job, is these 4 positions when you're double melee in this matchup, so you're gonna miss a couple because he's gonna get the pull behind, he's gonna deny like 2-3 extra CS, so that's what A Dream is actually missing here. And here's Mars. Mars is one of the better actual lane heroes, and boom!
Look at that Viper Nix straight onto RTW. They're tipping him as well.
Oh boy.
Here we go.
Well, they know that if they get ahead in this game, this Lifestealer is gonna have like no recovery period at all. He's in a very tough carry matchup versus Nagasarn, and he's versus Viper in the game. Like your whole game is going to be pretty terrible unless you get right on top of him to start off with like an Infest Bomb. Otherwise, you're just Viper Striked. Every single team fight, you're going to be Viper Striked. So.
Yeah. There you go, stuck there.
Yep.
I mean, something we didn't get a chance to touch on much, but Lifestealer item builds, we've previously seen the Radiance, the Battle Fury, they're all come and gone. Nowadays, are we expecting this armlet with a Deso? Halberd, what are we looking for RTW this game? Because he needs tempo, doesn't he?
Oh, God. I mean, you need to go armlet, 100%, but there is a consideration. You just have to go Maelstrom this game. You're playing versus Nagasarn. You need to be able to match core-to-core matchup at some point in the game, but might not work so well with their draft. So we'll see. I think maybe he ends up becoming more of this like utility Lifestealer kind of in a way for the Morphling to become the super carry. But yeah, already starting to fall pretty decently far behind inside laning start. And GH, he is starting to check, as we said, 4 minutes. There's GH. Has to check the runes, has to help out Miracle a bit there because he's falling behind. So Lornoff will not get a refill on one of these water runes.
Oh, there's lots of tips coming out. Kuro having a bit of a battle with Emergent. Bottom lane, though, mind control. He's all right. Mars slips away from the Naga. And that snap fire down bot.
Juke the cookie. I think if the cookie actually lands on him, he might die. Yeah, they cookied an illusion, landed right behind him. But he did the step forward to dodge it. It was a nice play from mind control.
Well done by him. And GH, he's not going to accomplish much here.
No, he can't.
He's just wandering around, and this is what we're saying. During that draft, we love to see this Tusk with the Lash Rank, the DP, the ranged heroes that utilize the tag team. But of course, they wanted this mind control Mars to set up team fights in that kind of period where the laning phase breaks down.
I'm a bit surprised that he didn't actually try doing in the first pull wave, you hit level 2 on Tusk, and then you TP to the safe lane and you just get a kill. Because Viper, very immobile hero, but if they start getting an advantage top, they're going to chain the kill. And watch this.
I've got the AA. Yeah, stuck out there. Emerging gets the stun into the Nether Toxin. And another one comes through for Afterlife. I mean, is that earn charges for the Viper as well already?
Yep. I think you have to, honestly, I think you have to bring GH up here. A +1 in order to try to set up to get ILTW to get a kill onto this slower hero like a Viper. 320 movement speed. If you get 3 heroes hitting him with tag team, he is going to die, but so far unable to get the foot... Get their foot off, and Lornoff, he's going back to base, but he's level 6 already on Storm, so they can't actually set up for him anymore, where we might have seen a rotation if they did it earlier.
What do you think the goal is for Storm now at level 6? Is it sort of hide in jungle, play fog and farm, or do you want to see him TP rotate to get kills?
I don't think he needs to rotate with the way that the lanes are going, right? I think this is a game where he can play his Greed, go for his Orchid, and then he's the counter to the Morphling completely inside of the game. So I think Lornoff can just play the mid lane, play the farm. If he sees a rotation like being forced, if they're diving too far into the other lane,
he'll go for it.
Sure, he can TP, but I think he should just play his own game, maximize as much as possible.
Yeah, it's definitely. Ancient Apparition is food for the Storm Spirit, and here's the move that you've been wanting for quite a while.
They need this.
GH. He's TP top, but Afterlife has already managed to dip away from any aggression Nigma was bringing. And now, Tusk is, TP top there. Mind control's isolated down bottom.
They're going to try to get an aggro play onto him. Huge creep wave going under, too. They're trying to connect, pull it.
Oh, they get a bit of it and a catapult as well.
They get a little bit.
The 2 range creeps going to follow through.
Look at the split illusions there done by Dream too, putting 2 illusions near the wave. I was wondering if he was going to go for the deny. Won't be able to get it. Mind control. Up to level 5. Not bad for the Mars when he's been kind of left on an island.
Yeah, he's getting something there. And Storm Spirit is starting to play the fog, as we've seen from Storms, kind of farming small camp, medium camp, getting himself back into the lane to stop the catapult wave from Morphling from hitting his tower too much. And
he's playing it very nice.
That's a nice vortex.
Oh, he missed.
Hey!
He misclicked.
Oh, miracle!
He was trying to shift down stick and shift back up, but did not do the math.
Well, you said the aggression from Lorinoff, right? That vortex play back under that tower onto a miracle. Beautifully done by the Storm.
Oh boy, that's a big slip up. They can't have these mistakes this game.
He stops, yes, he gets a kill on his counterpart, a solo kill. He's got a ton of goals, like rushing towards that Orchid. He's going to have it real fast. And now he's able to cut wave mid, farm up a camp, and accelerate even faster.
This is problems for sure for Nigma. Falling behind with this type of lineup is going to be very tough for them to recovering as they're countered in most of the actual matchups. It's going to be very reliant on mind control, getting some dream combos. So at least he's having a decent start. Net worth not so much, but his levels, right? Almost level 7 on the Mars. So he's going to be the big one to now bring them out of this very rough start for them.
Yeah, get them out of the rut.
GH. He's also potentially got some vision here. Lorinoff, he's stick charges. He's going to be able to zip past it.
Yeah, he's fine. But yeah, you're right. I mean, in the second game up against Vici, it was very much down to mind control with those big arenas, setting up the Ice Blast, the combos they've got. GH, he's in the wrong neck of the woods. Radiant Triangle. He's scouting Ancient Camp, but he's going to get caught up by Immersion and Afterlife here. And he's tried to deny himself to the Ancients. Not successful, though. Nyx Assassin will take him out.
And Nyx is usually a hero that takes some time, right? Your laning start isn't really the most amazing, but as the levels get online, this hero becomes one of the strongest supports in the game, and he's already having a great time. He's level 3, he's got Tranquil's Raindrop Windlace, he's going to be super active around the map.
I see.
And mind control.
Yeah, he's okay. Well, I don't know. He's alive. I don't know if he's okay. He's having some struggles now.
They've already got Medallion on the Snapfire. Plus the minus armor from Riptide. This is a very tough lane for the Mars now at this point. Even if though he has this chainmail, the minus armor is very effective as they will get the catch.
Yeah, they will find that Snapfire. Pretty tanky hero, but still going to get blown through. Mind control and GH also take down the courier with a Blade of Alacrity on it. So Dream losing out a bit of his tempo. And Storm Spirit try and get a bit of revenge here. Good attempt on the shard by GH, but Storm always able to close the gap back onto him. Well, that's the first kill for Nigma though. Up on the board, a bit of a morale boost at least for them.
And they get the Courier. Courier is a nice thing too. It's going to slow down that speed because the Naga Siren was getting pretty out of control. Yasha was on the horizon soon. Top.
LTW rages away. Immersion, thinking about that Impale, but holds it, knowing he's not going to get any real follow through.
Other thing about the Nyx in these type of matchups as well is Nyx, as we said, slow to start, but especially versus a hero like Lifestealer. Always Lifestealer's been like the king versus Nyx Assassin. You don't care about anything he does. You rage and just hit him, but yeah, Immersion having a very good start here, 2-0-1, sapping experience.
Especially if you're the one making the first move, right? If you're on the back foot against Lifestealer, you're having a rough time. You're making that first move against AA, against Morphling. This Nyx Assassin, once he hits level 6 especially, could find some pretty nifty openings onto some of these squishier targets.
This could be a good move here from GH. He's able to get on Afterlife. He's got the shards.
He's trying for it up top. Afterlife, the Viper drop in, 3 heroes surround him, and 9 minutes in, almost 10 minutes in, they get that tri-lane move onto the Viper at long last. They do grab the haste rune for Lauren off top as Nyx Assassin is TP down towards bottom. Miracle's going to force a ball lightning back into that creep wave. Not really a bother there for the Storm though, as it looks like they want to set up for mind control.
Look at how fast that was. Immediately hides himself off of the mid lane and instantly ports bottom for a kill. No
straight down there. And they got the chain stuns onto him, and he's a space arena. Mind control still going to spear up the Storm Spirit. Any backup? Nigma, where's my team? Mind control's left down here against 4 heroes. Didn't stand a chance.
I knew Lorinoff was aggressive, but my god, instantly makes the rotation with the haste rune. Miracle is capitalizing off of it though, hitting the tower. GH also playing in the area in case anybody comes up. So Afterlife, he actually has to just let this one drop. So, the move is good to at least punish mind control, but at the same time, they lose an early mid-tower versus a Morphling.
Yeah, 10 minutes in that catapult wave. And they did swing 3 heroes back towards mid, thinking about trying to start a fight, but that leaves Immersion down on the low ground against the Morphling Tusk. Cookie to disengage. Waveform forward though, Miracle. He's hunting for a little bit more. They know Lorinoff's low. The snowball towards the Snapfire will drag Miracle in towards that target instead. So they give up on the Nyx. Get the snap.
Great moves from GH. Sitting around mid, just literally being patient, waiting for somebody to show up there. And he knows that he is the kill hero with his team. They're going to give KuroKy the lane. Level 6, we see the AA blast. It's already going to the base. Is Lornoff going to get killed by it? No, he'll be okay.
He'll be fine.
A nice try. Good attempt.
He'll delay his move out of the fountain a little bit. I mean, net worth-wise, looking like Morphling up at the top, Naga not too far behind. We've got a pretty tight grouping of heroes there. I think the surprising one for me is Lifesteal has managed to recover pretty tremendously out of that top lane.
And he is just rushing Maelstrom. He's not even going to go for armlet, so he's going to try to counteract the Naga Siren. KuroKy.
Yeah, that's Immersion's level 6, right? Finds the AA, and he's got Urn charges on him. Kuro, he's got the invest save. RTW races across with the phase boots and the turnaround from GH. Good carapace, but next assassin, he's done for up there.
Nice team play coming out. They tip Kuro for baiting them in.
Making the calls. I'm baiting TP top. We'll turn this.
Help!
It does mean now, the kind of natural movement for the Naga Siren. Ditch bot lane, move up the top for the tier 1. Claim some objectives as Gambit. Are Nigma ready to fight this? Are they going to bring the Mars top to start a battle here?
He can. There is a TP coming out from Viper down bottom already with the Storm too. Mind Control might get caught off guard from this one here.
Oh, he's not expecting it.
No, he's not.
Dream gets the tower top, the zip in onto bottom lane is that Mars being caught out.
My goodness.
Thought he could do a bit more damage to that tower, but with that Nether Toxin and Storm's damage, just substantial.
It's such quick movements coming out
straight
from them.
smoke.
Look, this instant smoke. I love man, Gambit is on fire right now with the way that they're making these early aggressive moves, really recognizing the style that they want to play with this early advantage that they have on the Storm, just making Lornoff get very involved and just letting Dream do his own thing, right? Just let this Naga play his own game.
Yeah, it feels like wherever Immersion is, there's action. Feels like the Nyx Assassin's the one making the go calls. Follow me, let's smoke, let's make these moves. Dream is left alone top though, which means Nigma snap into action onto him, and RTW out with a killing spree.
Good move from Nigma. And now the smoke from Gambit is just going to be wasted. Immersion's going to be able to scout out some information. Oh, Miracle.
Oh.
He's shifting down.
Can he get it? And what's Miracle at? 560. He's got a Fairy Fire. I don't know, man.
Oh, he's being safe. He knows.
Yeah.
They're waiting for the zip, too. They see the Storm walking over.
He's got the stun and the zip in. They've caught Miracle out.
Got him.
Chain stunned beautifully. Absolute perfection in from Gambit. And Storm, he's going to ball lighting himself away. So not even a chance to catch with a snowball or an arena.
Can they get Immersion, though, for it, perhaps?
I'll try. He's got Carapace and the arena there with a spear, but in come the kisses. The counter initiation from Gambit. They blow up the Tusk. Mind Control. He's going to back himself up that ramp. Get to the safety of the staircase. But you need these arenas to be really landing and getting you kills right, because Mind Control's the main guy.
How much did he actually end up absorbing there? He absorbed the spear, he absorbed the damage from the punch. Just the Carapace alone absorbed pretty much everything there. If he didn't get it off at that exact moment, he's dead. They would at least get a return kill, but yeah, great Carapace from Immersion. Yeah, this is
a beautiful Nyx game.
Beautiful Nyx game for sure. And LTW, as we said, he's recovered, but every single one of these Arena of Bloods that don't connect, that's kind of just going to slow down the pace completely from Nigma. They need to have these successful, because if you look at the side of Gambit, they're not nearly as cooldown reliant.
That's a minute you're letting Naga farm, basically.
Yeah. But they got the Naga. That is the important thing.
Yeah.
Dream did get picked up before all that started, which was a very big one that Nigma did need. Now another tower.
Yeah, more flank down to bottom. He's got himself an ultimate orb, just a recipe away from Manta now.
Exactly. Lornoff already has his Orchid, so this is the timing here for Gambit to keep looking for plays, keep looking for any type of aggression. Nigma knows this. Look how they're sitting behind. GH and KuroKy at the ready to protect Miracle.
Very, very defensive. Patiently wait behind your carry.
Yep.
And here comes Immersion again. Another go call. Follow me. I will lead you to kills and action. And he'll try and scout them out. He'll see GH. Do they have any sentries? There's no reveal.
It's on the far right.
Yes, further off to that side, so they go on the Morphling straight away. It's pretty tanky and a great snowball. Ice Blast, turn around, onto the Storm, blow him up.
Ooh.
The streak taken down. And Gambit not bringing the numbers this time. Immersion might even get cut apart here as the Mars angling towards him. And Immersion's out.
Just instant reaction from GH. If they maybe had stunned from the opener, I think Immersion, he wanted to get that little bit of extra damage. If they just stunned, perhaps they actually can get the follow-up for the kill. But yeah, just too quick there from GH. And now Manta's done. So that was your big move to make with the Orchid.
That was the window.
Can react. Yep. And KuroKy being sneaky, getting deep wards down to see and be able to predict and, prepare yourself for these Orchid movements, having the Tusk in particular sitting behind that Morphling. They'll see these moves coming now.
Yeah, I mean, it very has much been smoke after smoke from Gambit. So if you can spot one of those out, vision and intel, important for Nigma here. as they do ready themselves around that bottom rune spot. Afterlife with boost of travel.
Yeah. Viper, super immobile hero. So you always want to be able to join to these fights as you know the map's going to start getting kind of split up.
Back onto the Nyx, they want to squish this bug and get the pest out of the game. They've blown up immersion, but in comes the Storm. Looking for the ancient apparition. He's got heals, he's got saves from the lifestealer. Kuro, he's barely dying, but it's taken Storm everything he's got to find the kill as BZZ. Taken out by RTW. And Nigma on the retreat now. A little vortex onto the Tusk. GH under that damage from the Riptide and Nether Toxin. 2 for 2, all things said and done. I mean, all the support's dead and all the cores running back to farm.
Man, I love active Dota. Mind control able to farm during the meantime. He's got his blink. It was spotted though. I believe that this courier actually did see this ward saw the courier coming out with it, so they should be aware that he does have blink dagger for the next ones. But some good aggressive moves from Nigma, being able to punch back with this Manta style morphling. They're getting the lifestealer completely back in the game, as you were mentioning earlier. Had a tough start, but he's 4-1. His infest saves have been pretty top notch so far.
Yeah, onto Kuroki every time as well, right? They're jumping the AA, you know that's your squishy target, the food for the Storm and the Nyx. So if RTW is ready and waiting for it, get straight into the ancient apparition. And BZZ, he's got a lot of work cut out for him as the position 5 this game against Kuro, and he's got a lot of de-warding to do. He's got to try and figure out what Nigma are up to.
Sneaky wards too, as we mentioned earlier. The one that you put deep past that tower, that's one that almost never gets de-warded, and the sentry is not going to catch it, the one that they placed down there, so.
Oh, hello! They find the next assassin under a sentry ward. Try to blow him up, and that's Morphling finding yet another kill.
Kuro during the DPC, I think one of the things that we did critique a lot of the times was the vision. They'd be actually quite lackluster on vision. This game so far that I've seen, he's been really top notch with them. Sneaky wards, sneaky sentries too, being placed down to be able to watch these Nyx's movements.
And it's all in the, like you say, the places that they need to be moving towards, or where they know the Gambit are going to be coming from. I mean, what's the next goal really here for Nigma? You know, we're thinking about Roshan, or is it going to be aiming towards that Radiant Triangle area? Nagasara, and you're hunting for her?
I think you can still just hunt whoever you see on the map if they're not playing that force game where we were talking about with like what the panel was saying too, where you shouldn't really see heroes on the map so much from Gambit if that's the style that they want to go for. So if Nigma sees anybody, I think they can just go for it. If they have the lanes in a good position, they can look for any type of fights with this big Mars AA combo. And that vision that they still have, they know exactly where all of Gambit is right now. They know that there's 3 or 4 heroes positioned around here. Immersion, he's going to sneak through Vendetta.
Any reveal?
Maybe this can get something done.
And sees GH. Immersion. And we're going to start on mind control here. He's thinking about it. Animation cancelling the stun.
He's so scared.
Miracle under a sentry ward as well. Invis Morphling. In comes the arena. Mind control started off onto BZZ and they just blow up the Snapfire. Grandma's gone. Miracle just walks straight back out. Nigma, the speed at which they jump in, find that pick. But the question is going to be, next objective. What do they get from it?
Dyer's middle tower.
Is that another kill?
They're just camping
They
right
want to get
outside
another
here.
kill from
Look
it.
at this.
Yeah, they're going to get some chain kills going. Snowball save beautifully done by the Tusk yet again to get mind control away from the Viper. Infest is going to allow him to stick around in bottom lane for the tier 2. I mean, Dream did get a tower mid and he's pushing out multiple waves, but Nigma, that tight 5-man unit, looking really strong.
11-11. They've completely evened it out, and Gambit not really knowing how to slow it down at all. They're going for the Kaya here onto the Storm Spirit next, but very squishy, very vulnerable now on all 3 cores. They can't actually show their face versus anything of Nigma unless they get the initiation cleanly from this Nyx assassin who's just, it's not happening.
Let's stay in bottom. Dream, he's songing.
Ooh, let's see if he can catch him.
He's setting up for it. 2 heroes caught up in it. Now, what's the follow-through going to be? The cookie, the stun, the Nyx assassin gets speared back, but he still catches out mind control. There's that Ice Blast, clips on the Dream, but Ancient Apparition blown up.
Nicely done from Dream.
That's a statement of intent by Gambit, right? 5 heroes, song sets up. We're coming to clear you out of our jungle.
They got the D ward as well too, which was important. That one ward was being pretty frustrating for them, and they're going to be able to claim their outpost back, which very important at this point in the game. So early that they would have lost it. Lornov definitely needs a BKB next item. I think this is going to be most appropriate. And I'm actually thinking maybe for Afterlife he might have wanted one too, but he's actually committed Atos. So he was going for the pipe build after bots, but going for Atos makes sense. You know, your versus like this Morph and Tusk, and even versus Mars can be pretty effective.
Keep them in that Nether Toxin.
Yep.
Maybe a nice little setup for the next stun.
I think that's the other thing too. They are lacking a little bit of catch in some situations where it can't just be immersion, because they'll walk in under a sentry and just die, and then they're missing a hero. So I do like that they at least have a secondary form, but definitely needs a BKB soon to be able to counteract versus the big Mars ult.
Oh, Miracle is Naga Siren now.
Yup. G, and they have a DD.
Oh, do they?
They do.
Into the Roche pit we go. Wondering what that next objective would be for Nigma. 21 minutes in,
They
it's the
die
big man.
so fast with the tag team with the Riptide too. It's gone.
It's dead.
They can't do anything about it.
Not a chance. Radiant scanned, but missed out on the Roche pit, I think, there.
Oh,
Saw the big green
my.
circle. So, yeah, he just grabbed up by Miracle and they're jumping into high ground towards the triangle. There's the punch from GH. Kiss is going to land in onto MC, but RTW has the rage. Gets straight through the lava. Clears through the Nyx. And Miracle can just stand his ground and battle the illusions.
And he's about to have E-Blade. So now your supports, who have been already proving to be pretty squishy, even more so versus this. And it's going to be tough for you to actually target and burst anybody, because that's not really what their draft does anymore. The Kisses, since it's a 5-position snap, it's only level 1. Their burst damage is quite lackluster now on the side of Gambit. Nigma, they'll kill anybody they go on every single time with this AA, with this combo.
So do you reckon the Naga Sirens, the insurance plan, is it going to come to fruition here? Do they have enough time?
Oh, it's definitely looking a bit scary. The Morphling now being able to always turn into her as well, too, is problematic.
Oh, Lorenoff reckons he's so strong. See what he gets up to. Storm Spirit is back in Fountain. Gonna have to try and regroup there with a snap and the Nyx Assassin, probably wanting to smoke across the map.
He's gonna need a pretty explosive BKB timing. Like, once he gets BKB, he needs to get like 2 to 3 kills plus, and they need to get some massive map advantage, because they're really starting to fall behind right now.
Dream getting away from the spear. Arena from Mind Control, holding Naga inside. The Ice Blast, it comes through and clips the Naga, but in comes Nyx Assassin. Life Stealer there, munching away at her, and Dream's gone. Nigma holding onto their own triangle, while the rest of Gambit nowhere to be seen.
Dream's only died twice this game, but both deaths are so impactful. The positions that he's gotten caught off in from Nigma, he's nowhere near his team. They can't help him at all. So he's just dead to these type of aggressive plays, and it's a lot of time off the map for this Naga.
And GH just keeps on chasing Immersion here. Already spent the carapace, so that means Miracle is opened up for an adaptive strike. Immersion, he's popped his wand, trying to get into the fog and run away. GH gonna think twice about going any deeper.
I'm so strong, guys. I'm so strong.
Does have that blink dagger though.
And do we have the Mjolnir? Looks like LTW is going the full counter build versus the Naga Siren, so really does feel that Nigma is in perfectly fine condition here. Only less than 1k gold behind, but that doesn't matter at all with the way that they've itemized, the way that they've played now too. This Morphling is by far the strongest hero on the map. And yeah, I think it's a lot of pressure now on Lorenoff.
Yeah, what, 3 minutes? Over 3 minutes remaining on the Aegis of Morphling. So that's going to be tier 2 mid, maybe even the entirety of the top lane. And this smoke, if they get a couple of kills, the net really closes in around Gambit and shuts them out of the map, because they've been playing wide open map, and now it's going to get real tight here as GH will start the jump onto Viper with the spear. The Viper didn't stand a chance in his own high ground triangle as Immersion trapped in the shards. And they've got the dust, the reveal comes, and even an arena to secure the Nyx Assassin. Miracle, like you said, in that Naga form with these illusions, shredding through people so quickly.
Oh boy. They are unable to really make any type of initiating moves themselves at all now. Nigma having the double blink daggers, as we saw GH picking it up quite some moments ago when they catch the Naga down bottom. Now they can just start running over. Now they'll get perhaps mind control at least. Okay.
Do get the Mars, but it leaves Lorenoff needing to use the BKB defensively, and he's spent all his mana, so he can't even TP, it's on cooldown. BCC is going to be the target now. They go towards RTW, Kuroki. Doesn't have any stun.
He's still getting chased. The Storm.
The Storm. Oh, you're right. GH has got a punch.
Oh,
Miracle finishes him off, and Storm's first BKB seemed worthless. Dead for a minute now as well, and he's still got his Aegis for 2 minutes on Miracle. So what's that, tier 2 mid? Control triangle, think about the rest of the map for yourself.
Definitely control the triangle. Just sit on this high ground here as now there's, man, it really just feels like there's nothing that poor Gambit can do anymore. They got these good timings early, but then nothing started to happen. Nigma just catching a couple kills off guard, catching the Naga Siren once or twice. It's been pretty massive for them, and it's just easier for them to initiate.
Yeah.
Immersion, how many times now have we seen him just like vendetta running around? He can't actually go on anybody.
He gets dusted, sentry, and he dies. Right, so, something the panel's brought up a couple of times is that ease of execution. And Nigma, like we said, game 2 against VG Gaming, pretty similar draft they had there, so they've already warmed up and practiced with this kind of lineup team fighting, whereas Gambit is much more nuanced how they want to, you're explaining the kind of wave pushing and splitting out the map.
It hasn't been able to happen. Nigma's just grouping up, always expecting the move movements first, so they're catching these heroes when they're trying to do that sneaky wave clear as Dream's Courier also gets taken out here.
Nothing on it, fortunately.
And, yeah, they actually do have the song here to try to catch.
Any vision? He can't see anyone until he walks straight in on top of the AA morph. They'll try and jump the Kuro AA, but the snowball save buys time as ILGW gets back onto Dream. Another strike onto the lifestealer, but he's going to infest back into the Morphling. Age is still in hand for about 45 seconds, so Morph wouldn't mind dying here, honestly. And that's it. Gambit have nothing left in the tank. They've spent everything. They get no kills, and Nigma just going to full hard reset and go again.
I can't believe they don't even get Kuroki. Again, just the double bailouts. I think the infest plus the snowballs time and time again. Nigma on point with these saves. And they don't have a good combo. This is the next point I actually was going to get to is sometimes we see these Naga Sirens able to work so well because you have some like black hole, something like an egg on top or something like that. They have nothing. Their combo is pretty much just Nyx Assassin runs in and tries to stun.
And then Kisses on top, it's very delicate way they want to start these fights.
And it really feels like they have 2 5 positions now at this point because of how slow Immersion's game has gotten. They have a level 11 Snapfire, level 11 Nyx Assassin who can't really contribute too much big into the team fights in comparison.
And you were very clear when you talked about that Storm's BKB timing. Well, hang on a second, Immersion's running forward again. They are desperately trying to start a fight wherever they can, but MC, BKB Spear, back onto the Nyx, in comes the Ice Blast combo. Immersion, Carapace and Cookie get him a bit of distance away from Nigma. A turnaround from Gambit, maybe here onto Miracle. Ball lightning into the arena comes, but Miracle's BKB'd up himself, turns into the Naga, they lose the Mars. Nyx buys back as well, but this Morphling, he's shredding him. There's not much Gambit can do against it. It's a good stun for Immersion, but the rest of them on the run. Dream has been left isolated yet again. Punched into the air, and GH brings him back down to the ground with a bang.
That is actually so crazy. So he turns into the illusions and then shifts into morph form so that they're ranged illusions. So he has these ranged morphlings. He has 4 morphlings in the fights.
Oh, let's snowball back onto the snap as well. Oh, BZZ's gone. 3 heroes dead without buyback, and Nigma have taken an absolute stranglehold on this game now.
Did they get at least 1 kill?
They got the Mars.
They got the Mars, but that's these BKBs just to get these 1 kills. This poor Storm Spirit can't actually get onto too many saves. It really is too many different defensive aspects on the side of Nigma that they're using beautifully. They really are. These infest, these snowballs have been on point. And now it's like you go for this aggressive move with the Nyx and you're like, oh my god, wait, they both have BKB. The Morphling and the Mars have BKB, and there's a built-in rage on Lifestealer, so you can't do much of anything.
So we have to do something, but what can we do? Running limited on options right now.
I mean, Morphling versus Naga Siren, now it's just looking very Morph favored. If I ever see this matchup again, I'm probably just going to immediately side with the Morph too. You just turn into the Naga Siren and you have 4 Morphlings, and then you Manta, and then you have like 7 Morphlings.
So many Morphlings.
Well, 6, whatever, but still, it's a lot of Morphlings.
That's a hell of a lot.
Yeah. And now they've just continued to control this triangle during all this time too.
And I like what Mind Control is doing, right? Pushing out bot lane, making sure that Dream doesn't have easy access to like tier 2 mid or bottom lane. No way to get out and cut the waves.
Gambit's not being allowed to play the draft the way they want to at all anymore. Now the map is completely closed on them, where they want to be the ones actually in this position where they're the ones forcing the waves out without showing anything. It's actually just Nigma doing that themselves now.
It's like the worst place for Naga to be is in her own base, pushing out waves with illusions.
Look at these Morphling illusions. Look at them go. Top wave. All right, 3 Morphlings, going to clear that one out in no time.
Look at the damage they do.
Yeah, it's actually pretty insane.
I don't know, I'm thinking, is it worth buying Diffusal Blade on Morphling when you're up against a Naga Siren like this? Get even more damage out.
He doesn't need it.
No point in deviating from what works.
Yeah. Dream is getting out to the other side of the map, getting close to getting another item perhaps eventually, but it really feels like this, like the Viper in particular, Afterlife, his game has been just where has he been, right? Like, where's the Viper been?
I don't know.
After laning phase, he had this excellent game, but he's just a boss. He's a pipe, he's an Athos, but he's 3-2 and 3. He's part of 6 out of the 15 kills in the map.
Yeah, it feels like it comes back to that kind of 13 to 16, 17 minute window where the Nyx and the Storm are grouping up as a pair, and everyone else, again, you're playing wide open map, giving themselves up as targets for Nigma. Maybe if they'd gone as 4 or tried to group up a little bit more and left just the Naga alone, they could have got a bit more out of the map as Dream. Does have a bit of backup here around her. Nyx Assassin can help out, but the Arena Spear, Ice Blast going in onto Dream. The Song of the Siren not going to help you.
He's just dead.
Dead to Miracle with a double kill on the Morphling.
GH, as we said, one to watch this game. 19 of their kills are because of him
really?
so far. Yeah, he is 19 out of 23 kills. His blink dagger came super early too, and he literally has been reading the map perfectly so far this game. This Tusk on point, level 17, same level as his offlane Mars. Yeah,
he's all over the place in a good way.
Yeah,
everywhere. Up in the faces of Gambit, and again we make this move as Nigma, right? Straight down the mid lane, look for the tier 3.
And Miracle, he's got illusions, he's got mantas. Once the Naga comes up, he's gonna have more illusions. This game has gotten to the impossible realms now.
Oh jeez. Yeah, tier 3 barracks, they just cease to exist. Disappearing under that structural damage from Nigma, up towards the top tier 3 as well. And Gambit, well, they need to pull something out of their hat here. Something drastic has to happen to stop the onslaught, stop the bleeding. Kisses will delay this inevitable rack push to kill the illusions. You're right, Fog. They got him.
They got the illusions, but the Rax... Oh, it actually survives. 80 HP, okay. That feels bad. Kisses to kill some illusions.
And Roshan's alive, so it's kind of perfect timing for Nigma here. And, is this a move that Gambit want to make towards Rax? Can they make it fast enough?
I mean, they're just going to have to
Roshan's
try.
already dead.
Oh, no.
They're moving across. There's
GH is already in position.
Yeah, you're right. He's going to get straight on top of them. Dodges the Rod of Atos too, and in comes Mind Control with the Arena Rebuke. Spear trying to aim onto the Viper. GH is silenced and netted though, so the Tusk will fall. But Age is already gathered up by Miracle, and a song used defensively here while Rage and BKB straight towards the Naga Siren, force out the Manta, any kind of illusions to play around with. But Dream's going to get chased down here. E-Blade, Spear misses, gets off a nice cookie as well. BZZ buys the space as Dream, he does escape, but the cost is dear. And Kuroki's found BZZ.
He's trying to he's trying to get to the wave. He wants to kill before they can actually push. Get that wave. Oh, he cookies backwards. Oh, he's gonna get a kill.
Trying to kill him. Kuro, Scat Blast, no. Saved by the spear, and in comes the cavalry from Nigma.
He tried. It was a good effort.
Good idea, good plan. Not working out for him though.
Again, every time it's just they're getting jumped on. GH does eventually die this time, but he did his job. He gave all the information for his team to get the perfect jumps onto the heroes, and now into the base to finish off that Rax. That was 80 HP. Now there's an AC as well, an ILTW, and of course we didn't mention because it's been getting kind of quick, but he gets one of the better items versus Naga too, Cloak of Flames on Lifestealer. So
that's great.
They can just end this game. They're unlikely though.
They're on tier 4s, yeah. There's a glyph out from Gambit. Try and get the Snapfire alive, and she'll have kisses when she respawns. It's just a struggle to see what exactly Gambit can do to start a fight, extend a fight to the point at which they can get more than just one kill. Because Nigma have so much.
I mean, they're just ending it. They gotta do something.
They're gonna try. I mean, Miracle just on your throne.
He's killing the bait.
He's killing the throne. I mean, there's no glyph. There's nothing to save it. That game's over.
It's over.
Nigma take game 1 against Gambit. I mean, it's a good draft from Gambit, good attempt, but Nigma with a momentum from that victory against Vici Gaming, really showing this Mars AA in particular.
Yeah, the Mars AA and just the way that the Morph and the Tusk actually controlled the game was pretty beautiful. The read of the map is the biggest thing. I think the biggest moment for me really was that bottom fight where Orchid comes out for Storm. Manta's not finished on Morphling that. GH gets the snowball save. That kind of just sets the tempo, sets a huge opening for Nigma to pretty much just run away with the game. That plus catching Dream the one time, they shut down his entire net worth. So.
Like top of Roshan, then back in the dire triangle here, he found Dream a couple of times. And you mentioned the Storm Spirit needed that Orchid timing and the BKB timing to net himself 2, 3, 4 kills off the back of it. Wasn't able to do so. I mean, their panel saying they like the draft from Gambit, so it's a good step forward. You know, it's just that the fact that Nigma seemed the stronger team in this series anyway. But yeah, what do we expect from Gambit and Nigma in game 2? The same kind of draft and aggression, or do you want to see Gambit speed things up a little bit?
I felt like Gambit's aggression was actually really, really good this game. I think just some crucial timings got messed up, right? The Nyx Assassin not getting that stun to cover versus that Orchid timing. Dream also getting caught while they're making a smoke movement at the same time. There's just a couple things there that really crumbled and Nigma took advantage of.
I think the panel's ready, so back to you, Rich.
Yeah, and it comes down to some of those crucial timings is really what we heard from Fogged. And I kind of want to break down just a little bit more what we saw from these two teams, because it did look like that initial advantage that Gambit maybe had from the draft. They had a really solid draft. They start off really well, but ultimately Nigma finds some of the cracks in their plans. All of a sudden, they completely take over that game, Lacoste.
Yeah, I think Dream bit overextending a couple of times on Naga Siren, not playing with the team. Viper had a really good laning stage at the start. After the 10-minute mark, like Viper, nowhere to be seen. He just completely falls off. I think also lack of the defensive item on both of the supports. They didn't have any. They were trying to get a Force Staff. What they needed to do, like on paper, for what the lineup that they got is go in and out, because you have mana burn from the Diffusal Blade, you have mana burn from Nyx Assassin, both Life Stealer and the Morphling they don't like to play into. They needed to reset. They had the song, like the execution was also not on point. Multiple times Naga Siren song into pretty much nothing. There's no real follow-up. They needed to get the quick in and out, maybe buy back on 4 and 5, because there's like nothing they can do. This Morphling was completely popping off once he gets that E-Blade. He had timing on Mantis style to get rid of those silences. It's just that Gambit kind of crumbled in this game. I was still like, after